Hello everyone, Hare Krishna. Apologies that our session is a little delayed today. Okay, there are a few people still connecting to audio and let's wait for them to connect. Hare Krishna, Prashant. Hare Krishna, everybody. Sorry, we have started a little late. I was facing some issues with the venue today. So apologies for the delay. And the good news is we wouldn't have to quit and rejoin because we have now a Zoom subscription so that you can all have an uninterrupted session flow. Okay, great. So, like we start the class usually, let us first do the prayer. And before that, I request for your prayers and blessings so that whatever I may say today should be in accordance with what Lord Krishna had instructed to Arjuna and what has been passed down through the Guru Parampara. I request for your blessings. Thank you. And like I always start, let me begin with a small prayer and let me share my screen. Bear with me for a moment. Okay. Hare Krishna, Kumarji. Hare Krishna. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just trying to share my screen for a bit. Right. So today we'll be dealing with the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And before I start, let me say my prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Very warm welcome to all of you to this session and hearty congratulations on completing halfway through the course. We are done with the first 9 chapters, right? Most of you were also there in the summary session. So I'm sure you're all ready now for moving into the second part of the Bhagavad Gita, okay, where we will get to know a lot more about Lord Krishna and his opulences and who he is as a person. All right. So today's topic is called the opulence of the absolute or Vibhuti Yoga. Okay. And the acronym for this chapter is here. Okay. So H stands for hearing. E stands for the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. I remember Prashant had asked this question long back, I think. Which chapter was that? Was it chapter 2 or chapter 3? So Prashant asked, what is the one shloka which summarizes the Bhagavad Gita? And I told you that it is not one, but it is actually 4 shlokas. And those 4 shlokas are from this 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So they together form they're called the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So it's called Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, meaning Bhagavad Gita explained in just 4 shlokas. So we will see that today. Okay. H stands for hearing. E stands for the essence of the Gita. A stands for acceptance. And finally, when we hear, know the essence, then accept, we get the revelation. Okay. So R stands for revelation or reveals. All right. So section 1 of this 10th chapter is going to be completely about hearing. So what do we mean by this? So what are we aiming? What does bhakti actually mean? Can you put it in the chat box, or can you all, any of you, unmute and tell me what does bhakti or devotional service actually mean? We dealt with this in the 9th chapter a little bit. What is the goal of bhakti? What is the goal of bhakti? Why do we have to do bhakti? Okay, bhakti means submission. I think Nishant is trying to say surrender. Okay. So surrender is a prerequisite for devotional service or bhakti, right? Service to the Lord. Okay. So what is the goal of doing this service? Why are we trying to do this devotional service? Nishant says to attain happiness. So among all emotions, in what kind of emotion do we experience happiness the most? For happiness for the soul. Karthikeya has got the answer. Amazing. So when we are in love, when we develop the love of God, that's when we experience the happiness of the soul. So we need to have food for the body. The same way, the soul has to also be nourished. And how will the soul be nourished? Through love of God. Yes. Prashant says bhakti is a selfless way to connect spiritually with the divine and seek union with it. Okay. So small correction with Prashant's statement. So divine is not a thing. Divine is a person. So you can say seek union with him or her, right? So yes, it's a selfless way to connect and develop love for this personality of Godhead. So Shachi says, we had studied about Swadharma and Nitya Dharma. So the food for soul is bhakti in itself, right? Amazing. Very nice, Sachi. I give it to you for this answer. So the goal of bhakti, goal of performing devotional service is to actually develop this unconditional pure love for God. Okay. It's not that we're just doing for the sake of doing it. It's not that, just because your mom says that, oh, just go to the temple and join your hands and pray to God. Go and pay obeisances and come. Not just to follow somebody's instructions. When you're in love with someone, you can't do things mechanically, can you? Somebody instructs you, oh, you go and see this person. You go and listen to them. Go and spend some time with them. But you yourself have no interest in it. So that's not love, isn't it? Similarly, when we are serving God, should not be somebody pushing you for it. Should come from within. That feeling to serve God, to love God, should come from within, right? So how do we develop this love? What do you think is necessary? If you have to fall in love with someone, what is necessary for that? Do you think it's necessary to see them? Can I have your responses in the chat box? If you fall in love with somebody, if you have to fall in love with somebody, so what is required for that? Indumati says remembrance. Okay. Okay. Priya says surrender and feel the presence. Yeah. Yeah. That's very nice. Right. Understanding them. To understand them, to remember them, to surrender and feel the presence, first you should know about them, right? So what are the different ways that you can know about someone? Even if you know nothing about the Bhagavad Gita, you can answer this. You want to know about somebody. How can you know about them? You have not met this person. Oh God. Prashant is saying go on LinkedIn. So unfortunately, God is not yet on LinkedIn. So yeah. Yeah, possibly. You could go on LinkedIn and read about them, right? Connect with them. How will you connect with them? Spending time with them. No, before you spend time, you do not know this person, all right? You want to know about them. How will you how will you approach this situation? How can you know about this person whom you have not yet befriended, whom you do not know still? Through someone, absolutely correct. And through whom? Through whom will this person? Ask someone who knows about him, and who, if you want to know really in great detail about this person. Oh God, Pranav is saying guru or a devotee. So when you want to know about somebody, okay, you're really interested in a person, absolutely, Priya, from a close friend of this person, right? Right? So if you really want to know about someone, you will approach their friends and ask about them. Huh? And these friends will tell you, oh, this girl is really nice. She's exceptional in these things, and she talks really well, or something of that sort, or you know, maybe about a boy his friend describes and stuff. What happens, huh? So without even, if you're hearing all kind of good things about somebody, you're already hearing about them. And what does this hearing do to you? If you keep hearing good things about a person, what does this do? Or not just good things, you come to know about somebody through their friends. You just hear about them. You have not seen them even. You just hear about them. So even before meeting them, yes, absolutely, Priya. Even before meeting them, you have this idea about them in your mind, right? It creates a positive feeling for you when you think of them without even seeing. So if we want to develop love for God, it's very important that we hear about him. And from whom should we hear? Anybody that passes on the road, are they qualified to tell us about God? Who is a person that is qualified to tell us about God? Yes, in the chat box. A spiritual master, a devotee, a bhakta, absolutely excellent. So a person who is a devotee is essentially somebody who's very close to God, who is a friend of God, okay, who has a close personal relationship with God. This person is called a devotee. So when we associate with a devotee, they tell us about God's pastimes, what he did during childhood, where he was born, huh? What kind of kingdom and ruling did he do when he was a king, and stuff like that. People who are very close to God describe him in the best possible way because they have personally known him or read about him, or have that kind of association of people who know him. So when we hear about God, when we hear about his pastimes, we develop this love for him eventually without even having to see. Like exactly like how even for normal people, it's not just for God, for normal people, if you keep hearing amazing things about someone and you get into the circle of their friends and they also keep telling good things, huh? So they describe this person, even if it's not particularly good, but they describe this person and you have this mental image. So eventually that starts a sense of liking, right? Similarly for God, the goal of devotional service is to develop this liking, develop this love for God. The goal is love, right? So how do we develop this love? This whole chapter is about God. He himself describes. Now the best person that can, if you want to know someone, you know from their friends, but when you have a direct conversation with them, you know them the best, right? With that conversation. So in this chapter, Lord Krishna describes to Arjuna about himself and his opulences. Okay. So it's a very interesting chapter. Let's see what is given in the first 7 shlokas. Arjuna is very curious to hear because Arjuna is already surrendered. He's already a devotee. He's already in love with God. Okay. So essentially, Arjuna has attained this goal of love of God and devotional service. He's surrendered and he's accepted Krishna as a spiritual master. But then why is Arjuna asking these questions now? When he's already attained love for Krishna, when he's already a friend of Krishna, why is he asking these questions? What is the process to develop firm faith? This is, Arjuna is asking Krishna how to get free from sins. different qualities, good or bad, are all of them created by Krishna? So these questions, is Krishna's mercy essential? These kind of questions Arjuna is asking. Why? Arjuna has already attained the goal, right? Why should Arjuna ask such questions? Any guesses? Okay. Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm not able to see your response. Doubts? No. So Arjuna not only asked these questions for himself, but for people like us who are ignorant and who need some example person, who need an example to guide them. So Arjuna's questions, Arjuna's life is an example for us, so that it is for the welfare of souls like us that he's asking such questions. He himself is a close associate of Lord Krishna. He's a friend already. He's a devotee. So for him, Krishna's mercy is already there. He's already developed love of God. But for people like us who are still in the process, he's setting an example. He's asking such questions just for our welfare, to uplift us, right? Okay. So the first shloka in this chapter addresses this question: what is the process to develop firm faith in Krishna? So we will see the shlokas in just a while. And Krishna's mercy is essential for what? To develop this firm, unwavering faith without being distracted. If we have to serve Krishna, serve the Lord, then how to develop this unwavering faith? How to get this firm faith? It comes from within. Plus, we also need Krishna's mercy to develop that kind of faith for him, right? So how to get free from sins also is a question again asked in this chapter. So let's see. And are all the different qualities, good or bad, created by Krishna or not? In this section, this particular section about hearing, the 7th shloka is considered to be the key shloka. So let us read the shloka. Anybody who would like to read the translation, please raise your hands digitally. Okay, I'll read the shloka for you. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tatvatah so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayah. Right. Does anybody want to read the translation? Could you please put your hands digitally up? Okay. I don't see Prashant. Yes, Prashant. Go ahead. Prashant, I think you're still on mute. Are you able to unmute yourself? Right. We're not able to hear you, Prashant. Okay. It says my internet is unstable. Are you all able to hear me? Can I please get your responses in the chat box? Okay, thanks, Nishant, Priya, Shivani. Prashant, आपको unmute करना पड़ेगा ना? I'm asking you to unmute, so you can accept that and read the translation. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt.
Thank you, Prashant. So Lord describes his opulence. Okay. He says that further in this chapter, he will say, among the mountains, I am the Meru. So like this, he'll give several examples and say among the serpents, and Vasuki. Similarly, he'll give various examples and describe his opulence. So people who are convinced of this opulence and mystic power of the Lord, that he has created this whole manifestation that we are able to see, and even that which we are not able to see. So people who are convinced of this fact, they perform or engage in unalloyed devotional service, meaning without any personal motives, selfish motives, without having business deals in mind. When with such a unalloyed and pure attitude, pure heart, when we serve God, when we perform devotional service, that is called unalloyed devotional service. So a person who is convinced of God's opulence, his power, he engages in this unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. Such a person is a devotee. Okay. So everybody, first thing, so the first requirement is surrender, right? To be a devotee. And a lot of people find that itself very, very difficult. How can we surrender? I am the best. Huh? I know everything. Now, why should I surrender to someone? This is the kind of thinking that we have. And that's how we have also been, conditioned, I think. So, right. Now, let's see. This is one of the shlokas which forms the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So, let me read the shloka and please volunteer and raise your hands if you would like to read the translation. I'll read the shloka first. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Right. Would anybody like to read this translation? Okay. I saw Shachi at the mandir yesterday, so I wanted to talk to you, but I couldn't. So I want Shachi to read this translation if that's a possibility. Shachi, would you be able to read? Okay. Okay, I think she's okay. Priya wants to read. And Kartike. Okay. Priya, go first. Go ahead. Yes, Priya.
Yeah. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you. So, Lord here says that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. This entire creation, including the spiritual and material world, emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So, Lord Krishna himself is saying that he is the source of the spiritual and material worlds, and everything emanates from him. The people who know of this, they know my position in this universe, they know who I am, and they worship me with all their hearts, right? Because they've all emanated from me as well, these jivas. When they realize that, they worship him. Now, some people would ask this question. Why is Lord Krishna saying that I am the source of everything. I am God. I am the creator. Why is Lord Krishna saying this? So do you all have an answer for this? Does anybody have an answer for this? Because he is God. Okay, correct. That's fact. But why does he have to state fact again and again? First thing is, who is he having this conversation with? Arjuna. Arjuna is his dear close friend. To him, he's saying, yes, I'm the creator. Yes, I have this spiritual material world has emanated from me. That's because Arjuna is a close friend and close associate devotee of Krishna. First thing this. And in the Bhagavad Gita, we started in the first chapter, right? The first shloka was spoken by whom in the Bhagavad Gita? First shloka. Right. First shloka was spoken by Arjun, Kartikeya. No, wrong answer. First shloka was not spoken by Arjun. Correct. The first shloka was spoken by Dhritarashtra, who was the blind father of the Kauravas, right? So Dhritarashtra was having a conversation with whom in the first chapter? his minister Sanjaya. Right, perfect. So his minister Sanjaya. So Sanjaya had this transcendental vision where he could sit in the kingdom of Hastinapura and still see what's going on in Kurukshetra. So this Sanjaya says, when the first time Lord Krishna speaks, he says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagavan means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavan means Lord. Okay, the Lord of the universe. So Sanjaya first addresses Lord Krishna as Shri Bhagavan. He could have also said Krishna Uvacha, right? Why did he have to say, he said Arjuna Uvacha. Similarly, he could have said Krishna Uvacha. Why didn't he say that? Because Sanjaya was also seeing through transcendental vision. Sanjaya was also aware of, he also heard the Bhagavad Gita. Although he was not in the Kurukshetra battlefield, he had also heard the Bhagavad Gita. Apologies. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So, he addresses Lord Krishna as Shri Bhagavan. So, Lord Krishna is having a conversation with his friend, and with that personal relationship, he is revealing to him that yes, he is God. Otherwise, even Arjuna did not know. He was just considering Lord Krishna to be another normal person like his any other friend. Okay, right. So here in the 8th shloka, Lord states that I am the cause of all causes. So 4 attributes of faith. What are the 4 attributes of faith? Let us see. Number 1, we should first have faith in Krishna's existence. Okay. The time till we keep saying that, okay, there is, first stage is no, there is no God. I do not believe, I'm an atheist. That is stage 1, step 1. Okay. And then you start speculating as things happen around you. As you see this beautiful creation, you realize that, oh, that's not a possibility, that, there's this beautiful creation, but there is nobody behind the creation. How is that possible? Spontaneously, nothing happens, right? So there has to be a creator, there has to be something behind it. So you believe that, okay, there is some kind of superior force or a supernatural force that's controlling things. But just energy, just light, just force, can that alone create everything? Can that light, that energy have the intelligence? That's not possible. So to have this intelligence to create such a beautiful manifestation, there has to be somebody that is conscious, that is intelligent, and that is capable of creating such things. And that has to be a personality. So number 1 thing to develop firm faith in Krishna is to believe in his existence in the first place, right? So faith in Krishna's existence, the beautiful design of the universe itself is enough to, cut through our speculations and establish our faith, first of all, in the existence of God, right? That's number 1. What is number 2? Faith in Krishna's relevance. Okay. Some people would say, oh, okay, Krishna is there. Okay, maybe he would have been there, but it's all mythology. It's all a myth. He was there, believed to be there 5,000 years ago. How do I know? How do we know? It is documented in so many of our scriptures. It's written down and documented that Lord Krishna was an incarnation. He came down on the earth to get back, to re-establish dharma. So it is documented. So it is not a myth. And then Krishna's relevance. He's the cause of all causes. He is the sustainer. If the world is still running, this creator, this maintainer has to be still working there behind the scenes to make this entire creation functioning, right? To make this entire creation function, basically. So we need to believe and have strong faith in Krishna's relevance, right? Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is Krishna's benevolence. We have to believe that Krishna is not some distant person sitting somewhere who has no direct connection with us. No, he is so powerful that he has expanded his energies, he has expanded himself in order to be able to be residing in each one of our hearts, in each of the living entities' hearts, even in trees and plants. So he resides in the hearts as Paramatma. All kinds of living entities. He's present in our hearts as Paramatma. So it's sitting in our hearts, he sits there as a witness and observes each and every thought that flows by. He knows inside out of us, right? So he's very benevolent. Despite knowing that we have so many different kinds of harmful emotions, he still keeps bestowing his mercy on us. He still keeps blessing us, even from inside. When we are going to do something that is incorrect or wrong or not on the path of righteousness, something that is morally wrong, we always have this inner little voice coming and saying that, no, maybe you shouldn't be doing this, right? No, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. This voice keeps coming, no, don't do it, from inside. So from where does it come? You are wanting to do something, but there's always this inner voice. From where does it come? He's constantly there. He's constantly there, supporting us, guiding us, right? Blessing us despite whatever kind of bad feelings, ill feelings we have. Even for a person who's an atheist, who doesn't believe in the existence, even for such a person, this inner voice is still there, right? So God is there. So we have to believe in Krishna's presence, his relevance, and his benevolence. He still showers his mercy upon us, despite us being an atheist, despite us being a hater also, for everyone, whatever, even if we are expressing love, even if we are expressing hatred, even if we are expressing anger, whatever emotion it may be, it's always benevolent, right? So to the extent we try to understand him, to that extent, he extends his mercy upon us, right? And in this Kali Yuga, in this particular yuga, all types of other ritualistic activities, sitting around this huge yagya kunda, or the fire sacrifice ritual, so many other types of rituals and pujas, these can be performed, but they are not recommended for this yuga. What is recommended is the holy name, chanting of this holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra, Hare, means the energy of Krishna, okay, which is believed to be Srimati Radharani, okay, and Krishna is his name. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You are calling out to the Lord and his energies. Okay. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama is also an extension of energy of Lord Krishna. It is believed. Okay. So we are addressing the Lord and his energies at the same time when we are chanting this mantra. So when we chant his name over and over again, we express our love, we express our desire to spend more time with God, to connect with God. So through the holy name, we can make an instant connection. I told you, this is the 911 helpline to connect with God instantly, isn't it? When you are in distress, when you are happy, in whatever situation you may be, if you keep dialing this number again and again, definitely God will respond. Okay. And in my experience, always I've got a response. So I'm sure you will also experience this, right? So it is recommended that to chant this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To chant one mantra, it took me just, let's say, 10 seconds, right? So to chant this 108 times is the minimal requirement for us, to establish a relationship with God, because we are giving a commitment that, okay, every day, it will take me 5 minutes to chant 108 times this mantra. What I am doing is every day 5 minutes, I'm giving away to God. So many things, for so many other things, we have time in the whole day. One friend comes over, you will talk to them for 2 hours discussing all kinds of things. But when it comes to God, who's constantly present in our heart, we can't even pay attention to him just for 5 minutes, call out his name, and have an inner conversation with him, inner loving conversation with him. So that's that. When we say that we commit these 5 minutes a day, that, okay, I will chant this name for 108 times. Even initially, if you don't feel anything out of it, it's the very beginning. So it takes some time. But if you dedicate that 5 minutes for this chanting, Lord observes it. He's sitting there in your heart. He's witnessing your efforts. So you will get the reciprocation. Okay. With that firm faith, you should have faith in Krishna's benevolence. He does shower his mercy way more than we can ever imagine. Okay. Right. And then number 4, faith in Krishna's intelligence. This is very important. Krishna's plans and decisions are always wiser than ours. So whenever we establish, okay, we believe that Krishna is God, he's a powerful person. But when we chant, we expect that, okay, God, so you're a very powerful person. I am friends with you now. I am a devotee. So you have to make sure that, okay, in the next 2 years, I get married. After that, I have a child. Before that, I have a very high paying job and things like this. Moment you befriended God, you think you can start asking different things. Yes, you can ask as a friend, but because God, Lord Krishna, is way more intelligent than you. And he has not just seen your this one small part of your life, but he has seen you through childhood. He has seen you through not just this lifetime but from before this. He's always been present in your heart. He knows what is the best for you. He's way more intelligent than we think. So we need to have faith in Krishna's intelligence and his plans. It's very much possible that you are desiring for something, but you do not get exactly that. You may get something else, but you need to have faith and belief in the Lord's decisions, the Lord's plans, okay? And understand that he's way wiser than us and he knows in and out about us. So whatever he is doing for us, when you establish a friendship with him, when you constantly connect with him by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he's definitely going to help us. But if it's not in accordance with our plans, that should not result in disbelief. That should also still result in faith, because Krishna is way more intelligent. After several years, you will realize that whatever course life had taken was for the best of your interest, was for you. It was the best scenario for you. We need to appreciate that, right? So what's the learning from this section 1? First thing, the more we hear, the more we sit with people who have an inner liking and love for Krishna, the more we hear about Krishna, the more we become fixed in devotional service. You hear a motivational video that you have to, maintain your fitness. That day you will immediately wear your joggers, trainers, and go for a run. And the next day back to square one. This is my real personal life example, okay? So that's exactly how it is in bhakti or devotional service. We need to constantly associate with people who are devotees themselves, who are fixed in devotional service, who love Krishna for who he is. So when we associate with them, we hear from them, the more we ourselves become fixed in devotional service, right? So that's the takeaway from the first shloka. Then to understand Krishna and his teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, we need Krishna's blessings. So for a lot of people now, see, there were a lot of people with us in the beginning, and then it's almost halved now. I said no interruptions, but too many interruptions. Apologies. Okay. So to understand Krishna and his teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, we need Krishna's blessings, because this knowledge, like I said, this is part of eternal knowledge. This will not leave us once we learn. Unlike any other person that we associate with, Krishna is very, very, very different, okay? In terms of, once you develop a love for Krishna, you might later not like Krishna, but Krishna will never leave you. In any situation, once you have established a relationship with Krishna, once you have got this friendship and love for Krishna, he will never let go of you. He will always be with you. After that, even if you develop other kinds of feelings, no, he is not going to leave you. This is not like a material relationship. Okay, this is relationship with God. So God's creation is so beautiful. God's manifestations that he has made are so beautiful. So a relationship with God is way more beyond our imagination, way more beautiful beyond our imagination. So God never leaves us, right? So when we understand Krishna's teachings, for us to be able to understand Krishna's teachings, it is not just our efforts, not just the blessings of our guru or guidance of our guru. It's also Krishna's blessings. Krishna's personal blessings are required because these things they eventually get revealed in the heart. With just one read of the Bhagavad Gita, with just an 18-day course, with, just by hearing alone, it's not complete. This knowledge comes in entirety when Krishna blesses us, and then we have this inner revelation of the real teaching, right? So yes, we need Krishna's blessings to understand. And it is a great fortune. It's a very great fortune of living entities to even come in contact with the Bhagavad Gita, okay, and associate with devotees. So you are all extremely fortunate people. Not just you, me. I have been extremely fortunate to have the association of such people who have love for Krishna, to have the association of people who have read the Bhagavad Gita and who discuss the pastimes of God. So all of you, among everybody that's living in the world, we are the very select few who have had the fortune to just come and even contact with the Bhagavad Gita and associate with the devotees. And the same goes with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, so you should be very happy that we have had this amazing fortune to at least learn something from the Bhagavad, not just come in contact with, but we are learning about the Bhagavad Gita, we are learning about God. So we are very, very fortunate beings, right? Okay. Right. Okay, I'm running very slow today. Section 2, that was just section 1 about hearing. Now section 2, Machchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. So such pure devotees, when they dwell in me, their lives are fully devoted to my service and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So these great devotees, how do you identify a person who's a devotee? This person is constantly thinking about Lord Krishna and his pastimes. If you talk to them, they will talk about how Lord's pastimes, what Lord did, what was his childhood pastime, who were his friends, Sudama, Baladev, and then Subala. So all these different friends and different kinds of pastimes that Lord did throughout his life. So all the point of discussion, oh, Lord Krishna likes this. Oh, Lord Krishna likes that song. Oh, I hear a musical instrument, now I remember the flute. Something like this. If you meet a person like this is a true sign of a devotee. Constantly thinking about Krishna, constantly talking about him. So what Krishna is saying, such people who after hearing about me have developed firm faith in me, have developed the desire to perform devotional service for me. Such people, what are the symptoms of such people? They always dwell in Krishna. Their lives are fully devoted to Krishna service and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, always enlightening one another and conversing about. Right. So coming to the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th shlokas of the 10th chapter, this is called the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, okay, which is the essence of considered to be the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. One key takeaway if you want from the Bhagavad Gita, it's going to be from these 4 shlokas. So what questions are answered in this essence of the Bhagavad Gita? What in these 4 shlokas? So by knowing about Krishna, by knowing about who he is, by knowing about his opulences, what is the result? That is told in the 8th shloka. Okay. So the result is pure devotion. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay. I was out of the meeting for a moment because of some kind of interruption. All right. Am I audible now? Am I audible to you all now? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Right. Let me go back to the presentation quickly. Okay, I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry. All right. Okay. Are you all able to see my screen? Okay, we were It is wrong. We were in section 2 and we were seeing the essence of the 10th chapter, right? The first question, what did it answer? What is the result of knowing about the opulence of Lord Krishna? Sorry, I don't know why this is blank. It's not loading. Give me a moment. Right. Any questions up till now? Any questions till now, till I get my screen sharing going? If you do have questions, please let me know. Okay, no questions. I don't see any questions. Why so? Apologies. The day I say that there would be no interruptions is the day when there is going to be some interruptions. I really apologize for the inconvenience. Okay. Finally I have the screen. Okay. I hope this is visible. All right. Okay. We were here. So the 8th shloka of the Bhagavad Gita explains the results of knowing Krishna's opulences. Ultimately, after hearing about Krishna, what we get is pure loving devotional service. Okay. So what is this pure devotion is addressed in the next shloka. To whom does Krishna give the intelligence to attain him? Attaining Krishna means going back to Godhead, going back to the place where we came from, the spiritual world. We all are believed to be living there in the spiritual world with Krishna, but due to our activities, we have fallen down to this material plane and we've forgotten our relationship with Krishna. But when we know about Krishna's opulences, when we perform this pure devotional service, Krishna gives us the intelligence to go back to where we came from, to attain that abode, to go back to him, right? So to whom